welcome back to another video. I'm Laura. This is a new gardening job that I've taken on. I think I actually started, when did I start this job? I think it was August, September time. Now the first visit was mainly getting the grass sorted. Of course I forgot to take my camera and video it, but you didn't really miss much. It was long. It did take me probably an hour and a half just to get it cut to a decent enough height. And then I did a bit of weeding around some of the little borders around the edge of the lawn. But like I say, I forgot my camera then and I didn't get a chance to film it. The new client said they wanted a new border created along this edge, which is what you can see me doing here with my little half moon. Now, if you're wondering how I'm measuring it, as you can see I'm using my foot. Basically they wanted it the same sort of width or depth as the other two borders. And I used my foot because I didn't have a tape measure or anything, I kind of used my foot as a guide, and it was actually roughly the same depth as my foot, so that's what I'm using to create the line along here. And surprisingly enough, when I finished, it was actually straight. So yeah, the foot idea worked a treat. Okay, so now that I've edged the lawn with the half moon, I'm just getting my little grafter and I'm loosening up the turf that I'm going to dig out just to make it easier for me. And once it's all lifted or loosened, I just start with my trowel and just try and dig it out and make it a usable border. So this garden, I didn't get it all done in one visit. They only wanted me a couple of hours each time, and it was sort of 2 hours once a fortnight. They did say if I could come once a week, then you know they'd be happy to have me to get it all sorted. But unfortunately, with how busy I am, I could only do once a fortnight. So yeah, a couple of hours once a fortnight. I think it took 4 or 5 visits to get the whole garden under control and tidied. Once all this part was sorted, then on the other side they've got these veg raised borders, but they've said that it's getting too much for them looking after veg and all that sort of stuff, so they've asked me if I could weed it all through, and then they'll figure out what they want to do with it next year, whether they'll just leave it or add some plants, which the last time I was there they did say they wanted plants putting in, so that'll probably be a job for spring next year. So if they do that and they keep with that idea and you want to see it, comment down below, then I'll know whether to take my camera and video it for you. Right, so what you see me doing here is they had these little, I don't really know what you call them, decorative fences that you can put along borders. They've got them all the way along the other side of the garden. You might notice it sort of later on in the video. They've got sort of different types, and these ones they had delivered when they asked if I could just install them on this border for them. This is actually the first time I've used these. I've never actually put these sort of garden edges on, well, on gardens or in gardens before. So I'm sort of like trying to figure it out as I go along. Now if you do these quite regularly yourselves, then please give me some advice or tips to make it easier. But yeah, so basically what I did, which you probably saw just on those little clips, I dug out a bit of a channel as deep as I could so I could fit these little decorative fences in. And I wanted to try and keep them all the same sort of height so it didn't look all up and down kind of thing. But when I sort of dug a big channel as deep as I could only go so far down before I started hitting rubble and concrete. I kind of just had to make do with that height. I did want it a bit shorter because I thought it was sticking up a bit, but I couldn't get them any further down because there was just lots of rubble, and then I just sort of clipped them on, and I didn't fix them all down straight away. I just sort of put them all in place until I'd finished off the border, you know, digging all the rest of the grass off and digging the channel and stuff. And then once all that was done and they were all placed, I then sort of went back through, which you'll see later on, fix them down a bit. Now you will notice as well that I don't actually finish all the fencing. We ran out, so I think we were about 4 or 5 short. I'm still sort of waiting for them to come. They did say when I went and just gave it one final tidy that they have been ordered and they should be delivered soon, but they're quite happy for me to leave it until spring to finish it all off. So yeah, these won't be fully completed, so you'll have to just ignore the bareness. Hopefully in the spring, once they come, I can finish it all off. Okay, so I'm just sort of fixing the last one that we had, trying to get it level or the best I can. And then now I'm just sort of going through making sure they're all, you know, secured down. Now I'm getting my little claw and just all the soil that are backed up against the wall are backfilled behind the little fences. Once I got all that done, I got my leaf blower and just leaf blew any bits that were still against the wall, as you can see here, or on the lawn, just to sort of tidy it up. See, I don't think I did too bad a job. I thought it looked quite good. I did check with the clients to see if they were happy with what I've done, and they were, so that's the main thing. Okay, so we're now on to another visit. That part you just seen took me a couple of hours to do. So the next time I came, this is Crocosmia lucifer, the tall Crocosmia with the red flowers. Basically what they wanted me to do was just dig them out and move them over onto the other side, you know, where I just created that new border, rather than getting rid, because they're quite big in this little bit of a border here, and when she's got washing out and stuff, they're just a bit messy on this side. It's not really big enough for them, so we moved them over to the other side, and then they can do what they want over there, and I think they'll look nice up against the wall when they start flowering. Just going back through with my rake and just levelling the soil out and picking up any weeds or anything like that that's left in. That's done. I move over to this side of the garden where I've placed all the Crocosmia where I want them planting, and I'm just going through and planting them there, and then I'm cutting them all back. Fine to cut Crocosmia back October time or any time now really. And yeah, this is where I got up to with the decorative fencing. We ran out, so there is a bit of a gap, but we will get some more soon, so yeah, I'll be doing that probably next spring. Now I've moved over onto the other side of the garden where they've got these raised flower beds which they used for growing vegetables, but it's got to the point for them where it's just too much. They're just struggling because they have other issues as well. They're just struggling to keep on top of looking after all the veg. So I've cleared it all out, and then we'll decide later on what we want to do, which the clients have actually said they'd like it all planting up. So next year, like I said at the start of the video, we'll be getting some probably perennial shrubs and things like that and planting them all up. And I know the clients are absolutely thrilled with what I've done for them. I know after each visit she would come out to me and said that she really wished she'd found me a lot sooner. She wasn't able to find anybody that could help her with the garden. The guys that she did speak to, they just cut the grass, and that's not what she wanted. She got in touch with me by a neighbour, But she actually thought originally that I just cut grass, because the neighbour that I do the garden for, all she has is lawns. So that is all I do there, is just cut the grass. So this client thought that that's all I did. But when she spoke to me and I said, oh no, you know, I do all borders and things like that, she was well chuffed. And like I say, after each visit, she couldn't believe what I was able to do, and she was well chuffed. So I'm glad that I could help her and make it look nice. And her husband as well, he was a gardener before he retired, so it's always nice to help a fellow gardener out. And I know he can't do anything in the garden anymore, so it's nice that they can have a nice garden now and not have to worry about it. So yeah, I'm glad I could help. Okay, so now we're coming up to the final border. It took, these vegetable raised borders took about 3 visits to get all tidy, because as you see they were quite messy. But what I also did as well on each visit was go back over the areas that I'd already done. So I was cutting the grass again, going back through the borders that you saw me do at the start of the video, just to obviously keep on top of all the weeds and stuff. So that's why it took quite a few visits, because I did have to go over what I'd already done. But anyway, here are the before and after clips, so you can see how it looked before to how it looks now. And like I say, with those decorative fences, we did run out, and I will be putting the rest in spring. So just excuse that bit of a gap that you saw before. Right, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, consider subscribing to my channel. And I hope to see you for the next one. Everybody take care. Bye.